Hello and welcome to United for Good. I'm Margaret O'Neill with United Way of Central West Virginia. Before we get started with our super extra special guest today, I have to always say thank you to the Library Television Network and the West Virginia Library Commission for allowing us to be part of their programming and to be in your homes as you have a chance to see such great programming. So with me today is my good friend, Sean Hill from, I always say KRT, but that's not right. It's the Kanawha Valley Regional Transportation Network. No. Authority.
You're close.
I was really close.
Which is an accomplishment because it's a mouthful.
Yeah, so say it one more time.
The KRT, as we shorten it, is the Kanawha Valley Regional Transportation Authority.
Yeah, I love that.
KVRTA.
Yeah, so so we're going to talk about KRT for sure, but when I first came to Charleston, I was just really impressed that the Valley had a transportation network, right? So I came from Southern West Virginia, didn't see that, don't have that. What a win for people in this community to be able to have KRT transportation, right?
Yeah, it's really huge. You know, Margaret, we run the largest public transit agency in the state of West Virginia. We operate 361 days a year, about 2.3 million miles.
Wow.
As far as how far our vehicles travel in a year, around 50 vehicles that we do that service with. So it's almost every single corner of Kanawha County is touched by KRT in some fashion.
And that's awesome. And you've been there, we were just talking off camera, so just about 2 years.
Just about 2 years now, yes.
And tell me a little bit about where you came from and your family.
Sure,
Are you from Charleston?
I was born and raised in Parkersburg. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah,
Are you the Big Red?
I'm a Big Red, yes.
Good, that's
Big
fun.
Red, born and raised. Went to school up at WVU, came down here to Charleston and spent about 13 years in state government. Had some really neat roles that as far as I worked in some Governor Tomlin's administration, and also went to the development office and got to travel around the world trying to sell West Virginia to different businesses. And
so fun.
Yeah, it was really neat. I mean, I love this state, and being able to go outside of our borders and say, hey, this is a fantastic place to do business, a fantastic place to work and to live, was really important to me. And that's then also kind of translated to this world of public transit, which you don't think about it, but that's getting people to work. It's making sure that the different businesses that are here in the state, and especially in Kanawha County, can be successful and operate.
And you have a great family.
I have a great family. I have a fantastic family. My wife and I've got a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. So we're at that fun age where yeah, you never know what to expect.
The holidays are extra special this time.
The holidays are extra special. We get to, again, thankful to spend so much time with the family during this time of year. But it's hectic. Yeah, it's a fun time. Let's put it that way.
So KRT get busier around the holiday season?
Yeah, we get busy. You know, it's year-round. The people that rely on public transportation, you think there are times where it kind of swells and we have more people getting on depending on the weather and different things. But really, the core transportation that we provide are people, they go to work every day, they go to the grocery store, they go to medical appointments, et cetera. So that kind of doesn't ebb and flow too much, but there are times that seasonally we see way more travelers. And sometimes it's more during the summertime when the weather's nice, people want to get out and about. But we're thankful at this time of year we're busy also.
And so I know, because I know you, but I've been down to your location, but you've got the big buses, and then there are the smaller, like KAT type.
KAT.
We're going to talk about that. And then the trolley.
Yes.
Right? And so I know that this show will air multiple times between now and January, but great community partner, and so we'll talk about the way you partnered with United Way in a little bit, but great community partner that no matter what's going on in the city, KRT finds a way to support that. And in the holiday season, that's been the Holly Jolly Trolley.
Holly Jolly Brawley Trolley.
Brawley Trolley. I get my brawleys all mixed up. I add words to that. I get in trouble.
If we can find some more adjectives for the Holly Jolly Brawley Trolley. I got a phone call, this was a few months ago, from Mayor Goodwin, Amy Goodwin, in the city of Charleston, and she said, Sean, I got an idea. The Holly Jolly Brawley Trolley. And I said, sign me up. Well, I don't know what that means, but let's do it. And back to that point, you know, the KRT runs on a safety levy here in Kanawha County. So every 5 years, we ask the citizens of Kanawha County to vote for, it's for ambulance, fire, police, and the bus system. And we take that responsibility really seriously, and we say, hey, if all the citizens of Kanawha County are paying towards a safety levy to make sure KRT operates, let's step up every time we can to be a community partner. So you'll see the trolley in parades, you'll see us, moving around softball teams and baseball teams or volleyball teams whenever we can. We try to go that extra mile so people see us out in the community. You may never necessarily need to ride the KRT. Maybe you have a car, or maybe you just walk to work, etc. But there may be a special event like a regatta.
Because you did that for the regatta too.
Yeah,
right?
we ran a shuttle for the entire regatta time, or this Holly Jolly Brawley Trolley, where we're taking folks from the city center down to the Light the Night, Salango Light the Night event down to Go-Mart Ballpark, and then to the Capitol Market and back. So any way we can get people on our vehicles and also provide that service to the community where, hey, we're going to keep you warm and get you from spot A to point B, that's something that we really love to be a part of.
It was the very first thing that went through my head when I heard about the Holly Brawley Jolly Trolley is that, just for people who may not ever experience a ride on a bus, right, that you can get that experience and go, oh gosh, this is a great mode of transportation if I I need this for work, or I need it for play, or I just want to park somewhere and take the easy route.
Exactly. It's safe.
People have used
it. It can be fun. A lot of people have used it. We were pleasantly surprised because you don't ever really know the first year you do something. You think, hey, is this going to be used, or are people actually going to get on this thing? And they have. And the first weekend, I think it was almost 1,800 passengers. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
But you had about 10,000 people coming into downtown in the city center area, which was just fantastic what that downtown district has done with bringing people in for Christmas and for the holiday season. So we were really thrilled. I mean, I will say, if you get on the Holly Jolly Brawley Trolley and it's all lit up and it's lights and it's fantastic. Most of our buses, I can't say, are going to be that much fun to ride on. You never know, but
they're safe and
they are
clean,
safe,
and they'll get you exactly where you need to go. And really professional. Do you call them bus drivers?
We call them operators. Yes,
operators.
Our operators are fantastic. They're ATU, they're union officers, they're operators. They receive amazing benefits, and then kind of that whole deal brings together really good people who stay here and make a career at KRT out of being an operator. And we have about 100 total when you talk about our fixed route. We say fixed route, that means our bus drivers, so driving on the bus, those operators. And then we have our paratransit operators who operate those smaller cat vans that you talked about.
But talk about that a little bit, because for when I first heard that from the United Way perspective, that really interested us, because we often get calls to 211 or directly at our office to ask about transportation for those who have some kind of physical handicap or just I can't wait at a bus stop, right?
Exactly.
So talk about that.
Yeah, and so all of our vehicles, from our buses to our smaller vans, are ADA compatible, so you can technically get in a wheelchair on our big bus. And
bicycles too, right?
Exactly, yeah. We've upgraded some of our bike racks now to have 3 on the front, so you'll see us driving around. We look like a Christmas tree because we've got buses all over, or bikes all over the front. But yeah, our paratransit service that we've called for years, it's called CAT, the Kanawha Alternative Transit. It's a cute name. Don't know if that'll last forever, but that service is really fantastic, because for people who qualify for this service, so maybe they have some disability, it could be temporary. You could fall down and break your leg and tomorrow need this service because you don't want to invest in a van or can't afford that. So these vans, and I say vans, but they can hold up to 14 individuals. They are able to be scheduled so in advance, a day in advance. Margaret can call in and say, hey, I need a ride. I need picked up at the Capitol. I need dropped off at my doctor's appointment, and I need picked up and taken back. And we perform that on a daily basis, and we move thousands of people.
And how much does that cost?
It's $3 each way, so it's $6. And if you can also get a half fare card if you're over 65. We have a half fare service for that, so that also helps cut down the cost.
And there's something special for veterans too.
Yes. So veterans right now, we teamed up. We like to do these partnerships. So we've teamed up with Jan Dill's Attorney at Law. It's called Operation Transportation, and they're actually providing free monthly bus passes for veterans who apply through that service. So that's fantastic for us, and it's gotten more people onto the bus, and it's also a way of saying thank you for the people who served. And it's a small thing we can do.
Yeah, for every day we say there should be no veteran that suffers for lack of anything, right? Food, shelter, transportation.
Yep.
So your plug for Are You Good staff-wise? You still looking for good operators?
We are still looking for people. Yes, we need operators, and more importantly too, you think of a bus operation. It's not just the operators; it's the entire staff of the support, the admin staff, but also we've got a garage that operates 24/7, 365 days a year. So we're talking about 25 mechanics. We're talking.
So
about,
you do all your own maintenance?
We do all of our own maintenance. We ship off some big things. If it's something really outside the norm, we might send it out to one of the engine or the transmission shops. But we do most of the work all in-house, and that takes a huge staff. And so mechanics we need, operators, we're always looking for good people, anyone who wants to represent KRT and come out and be.
And I need what? I have to have a CDL license?
Yeah, and we'll actually get you a CDL. So if you have historically at KRT, we said, hey, you need to have your learner's CDL endorsement. We've learned that if we can just train people, if you come bringing the skills and the personality and the right attitude to work at KRT, we can get you all of those different certifications to actually drive a bus and or be a mechanic. So if you have any experience in maintenance or if you have any experience driving, come on down.
Yeah, and you're looking for a good, safe place to work where you got great people. I mean, I can speak to the leadership. There's great people, and it's a great board of directors. You just have a really
It's a fantastic board.
Right.
The benefits are amazing. I mean, the fact that someone could come out of school and start working at KRT and spend their whole, where do you get a pension and health care benefits that way, and the wages, and being represented by the ATU. We work out a union contract every 3 years, so it continues to get better and better to be an employee at KRT, and I'm proud to be pushing that forward and working with those labor contacts to make things better for our employees. So I think we're doing things and embracing it again, and you mentioned our board too, which is they're so supportive of some of these changes we've made and some of the embracing technologies to try to make KRT more accessible for not just passengers, but make it more fun to work at KRT. That's a big deal for us too, because there are certain technologies we've taken advantage of that have made it a little bit better to be an employee here.
Yeah, so if you want to learn more, they can come by. Is that what you prefer? How do they find you if they're interested?
Yeah, so they can go on our website. It's rideonKRT.com. They can look on our Facebook. They can look on, was it X now? It's not Twitter anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how to use that.
Other social media sites.
Other social media sites. You can find us on most of them, yes. Or you can call in 304-343-3840 and then just ask, what we're hiring for, and we'll shoot you out an application.
Awesome. Well, so there's your plug. Looking for a new career in the new year, we got you at KRT.
Yes.
So let's say the first time that I reached out to KRT from the United Way was with your predecessor.
Yes.
And we were smack in the middle of COVID and trying to figure out a way to promote West Virginia 211 in places that people would see it and go, oh gosh, I need resources, where can I call? And so we were like, what if we put them on buses? What would that look like? And of course, nobody said no. And before you know it, we had little panels in KRT buses that said West Virginia 211 and, call if you need help or support. And then it just came on from there. We do warming centers, which I think most people are familiar with, that lots and lots of organizations, certainly not the United Way, but lots of organizations in Charleston support that work when it gets really, really cold. And we were really concerned about how we were going to get people from the west side, which is where the beds are, back over to Man-A-Meal or back over to the men's shelter to stay warm through the daytime. And so we said, KRT, can you pick people up at 7 o'clock in the morning? And you guys never missed a beat, and including Christmas and Christmas Eve last year. Crazy.
Yeah. Again, going back to that concept of showing up for the community and for the people who help make it possible to operate KRT. We love when the phone rings, and I just tell people, I'm like, I'll say yes to Margaret, and I don't know how we're going to accomplish it or how, on Christmas Eve we're going to pull this off, but we have to, and I appreciate my team has that same personality. They say, hey, let's figure out how to make it happen. We don't always necessarily know how it's going to happen, but we do, and those community partnerships, that's what makes us, as we go through the years and we say, hey, yes, it's so important that we move people from A to B and get all these people to work and et cetera, but these community partnerships of going out there and protecting people and saving people in our community, it's what you do every day, but we're excited when we get to be a little part of it.
Well, what I love are the operators that came at 7 o'clock in the morning, were so kind. And we filled up a bus or two sometimes. And so they would be like, come right back, Margaret, coming right back. We'll take them where they're going, and we'll be right back to get the rest. And helped us load up folks that had little disabilities and trying to make sure everybody was safe. But you have genuinely good people, and that matters. That makes me vote for the levy, right?
Yeah,
Whether or not I've ever been on a KRT bus.
You know, it's one of those things, and I tell new operators when they come in, we have a class of new employees, you know, I can do everything I can to be on, have the opportunity to sit in front of you and talk, but our operators who are on a daily basis meeting with people and giving them a firsthand experience of this is what KRT means, that's what's so important. So they have the ability to go so much further than I ever will, sitting behind a desk or sitting in front of even a TV screen. And that's why it's so important to have the right people in those roles. And it's not just helping out with our community partners, but it's being on standby. We do evacuations, we do emergencies.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Anytime there's been flooding, we pull our buses up on standby because you don't appreciate how complicated it is to move a large group of people quickly until you have to.
And did you do that for the Regal? Because that's coming back to me now. You did that for the Regal fire, right?
Yes, we moved some folks around. We helped get them to some. I think we took them up to Walmart or somewhere to help them shop and buy because they had nothing at that point. And so anytime we just say yes, and it makes you feel really good, and it makes our operators feel fantastic. And it's kind of unsung. They do this, and a lot of times they do these things, and no one really knows about it. But
because I know you've opened a bus just at the, like on the street for when it gets really really cold for people to, because we have weird Greyhound now. I mean, like the Greyhound's closed.
Exactly. Yeah. So we down at the city center, so on Laidley, which is a fantastic new.
And that's your new place, right?
That's our new place. Yeah, it's been operating a little over a year and a half now.
Do you love it? Is it working the way you hoped it would?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good,
and you know, the transit mall used to be have a negative connotation, and people didn't want to walk down near Laidley and near that part of downtown Charleston. I will say, and I'll give full credit to the Charleston Downtown District, to Mayor Goodwin and her team. All along we said this will succeed or it'll fail based off how you program it, how much activity happens down here. I dare you to go down there on a weekend and not have an event going on or something happening.
People on the swings, people on the
it's
street.
so full of people, or it's kids running around in the summertime playing in the sprinklers, or it's kids running around looking at the trees now for the holiday season. That activity has kept that location safe. It's made it fun. People come down there.
Is there a police department there too?
Yeah. The police have a facility right there on site too. So we've had zero issues with that. I mean, it's been fantastic, and it's nice and centrally located. We've done some upgrades to the lighting and to the benches there. So I'm thrilled with the city center. It's been fantastic.
Good. And so the other way we've partnered is we go through some bus tickets before we get to the really good part.
Yes.
We go through some bus tickets at the United Way. But you know, that's part of our role. So wanting people to go to work, needing people to get to work, how can we help do that? And again, my enthusiasm when I came to Charleston that there was public transportation that we could offer to people. And so, you know, we have folks that are in recovery, that are needing treatment, that we can we kind of move them from our original grant where we can provide quick transportation for people to get to recovery, to once they've been in recovery for a little bit and can use buses, that we can provide bus passes to them. And again, you've always stepped up and made sure we had them even when we couldn't print them, even when there was a challenge. We never went without. And so, you know, my gratitude to you, because it matters. People who, and there's rarely a person we talk to today that hasn't known and loved somebody in recovery, right?
Sure.
And so
it touches everybody.
So want to support that work. And people that know that if your appointment for your treatment is today, you need to get there today.
Sure.
And so for us to be able to provide bus passes for treatment and for people to get to work, again, you guys just pull through every single time. So thank you for that.
Thank you, and again, for thinking of our service for those individuals is so important to us, because that's what gives us the ability to keep doing this for the people we don't think about who may be using our service. So we're going to step up every time we can to help with that.
We're always going to remind you about those people.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
No, hey, I love it. You guys, the amount of people you touch on a daily basis is overwhelming to me. And I think we probably don't have the ability to grasp just how many people you guys do help on a daily basis.
We say, you know, come sit in the office for a minute, and you'll see that, you know, we've had thousands of applications through the Christmas Bureau for Christmas help for families and food, as well as toys. And You know, we had 6 weeks of a gas outage on the west side where we took over 1,350 calls to
Wow.
support that work. And so we, like you, we don't say no, we say we'll figure it out,
Yep.
right? And we
Especially
sit
this
down
time of year.
and we figure it out. And so when needing to figure out, you know, we serve 6 counties, so Kanawha, Putnam, so clearly you're our Kanawha County partner when it comes to
Yes.
transportation, but Kanawha, Putnam, Boone, Logan, Clay, and Braxton. And so you get up into that real central part of West Virginia, and our friends in Clay County are really struggled and have struggled now for more than 3 years to not have a real full-blown, open all the time grocery store in a community that really needs that. And so we, as a United Way, trying to meet needs, fill gaps. You know, we're doing all kinds of research and late night Google searches to try to figure out, knowing we can't possibly be the only food desert in the country, what do other people do? And we ran across some friends in Bowling Green, Kentucky that started a mobile grocery store. And we were like, man, that'd be fun. Wonder how they did that. And so because of the United Way footprint and, you know, we talked to each other across the country and across the world, we were able to reach out to those folks who funded that work and started asking a bunch of questions. And it just made total sense to us to come back to our friends at KRT and say, what are the chances, you know, you get tired of a vehicle and you don't want to put it away, but you want to keep it in service, and that we could start a mobile grocery store right here in central West Virginia, and you said yes.
This is another example of, if you call me with an idea, I'm going to say yes. And I may wonder how in the world we're going to make it happen, but
man, you did it though.
We just said, well, you all are going to do it. We provide the resources we have, which we're lucky that when our vehicles come to the end of their useful life, for us, doesn't necessarily mean that they're dead. Our mechanics do a fantastic job of keeping those vehicles operational. So when the concept came in of, hey, can we turn one of your smaller, we have 3 different kinds of buses. We have large buses, 29 and 35 foot buses. We have smaller, we call them 500s. They operate on some of our hill routes that you can't not drive a bus on.
Right.
And then there's smaller paratransit vans. So right in the middle of that, you know, we've got some of those opportunities for the smaller vehicles that you could retrofit into this mobile grocery store. And when you showed me pictures and said, hey, this is what they've done, okay, now it's real.
We're so excited. And so we have it sort of in position.
Yeah.
We're getting the insurance lined up, and it'll go to rehab and come. It's empty now. Your folks gutted it completely for us. And so it'll come back with coolers and refrigerators and freezers. And we hope by late spring that we're on the road, and we'll clearly start out and focus on our friends in Clay County. But in Bowling Green, they really focused on senior housing units across their communities where people found it really difficult to get out and access food and grocery stores. And so we'll morph into that over time, where we're still serving people who just need a grocery store.
Yes.
And then also finding places like our senior housing units that we can just roll up in the parking lot and seniors can come down and shop. So clarifying that it's not a pantry.
Exactly.
It's a market.
Store.
It's a grocery store.
And the neat thing about that for those individuals in Clay County, and then I assume that when it's successful, it's going to travel to all these other counties that you serve, and then other agencies in the state will learn it and want to do the same thing. The neat thing is, like you mentioned, that the idea that it's a mobile grocery store. I mean, people don't feel any differently. They're thankful they get to walk out and purchase their produce or whatever it is that they need. You guys are accomplishing that, and then, you know, maybe the next day it's a different spot. That's exciting, and that's bringing the resources to the people where they need it.
Had to find a way, right? And so we won't be, you know, increasing prices. We'll be purchasing and selling. It's not a fundraising opportunity necessarily for us as a United Way, but more of a need meter, and so that's what we'll be doing. But still have opportunity for a few sponsors on that if anybody's interested. And then we hope, you know, we may even, you know, pull into your stream of retired bus drivers, right? There might be some folks, school bus driver. You don't have to have a CDL for our vehicle, but you know, if somebody wants to volunteer a couple days a week, and we'll figure those routes out. But we'd love to bring in some volunteers to help operate that program, and I think I want to do it. I want to do it a day, a month or so. I think that it's going to keep us real grounded with the communities we serve, and hear about other needs that they may have in addition to groceries.
Yeah, and I think once you do this once, and once you learn, you're going to have some learning experiences and opportunities to
I'll be
get
calling
better.
you crying. I'll be like, help me with the route. I don't know the route.
I'm like, I don't know how to put together a transmission. But the reality is, too, the next time when you come and say, hey, we need another vehicle to do this again and again and again, with this success happening all over your area and then all over the state. It's a neat way to repurpose the vehicles that we use. And again, how do you keep those resources moving forward?
Well, we've had great partners. So, Cabin Creek Health Systems has been a part of this. Unicare has been a part of this. My friend Adam Crayson at ZMM helped with the design of what the inside looked
really
like.
neat.
And then, you guys for sure is a huge partner. We wouldn't have been able to do it without you. But it's exciting for us, and it's been a little lag. COVID, we thought of it, created it around COVID, and then clearly that just didn't happen. But timing is right.
Yeah, the timing was. We said yes to it. I think it was almost
3 years.
Yeah, so long ago. And then it took us literally almost 3 years just to get vehicles delivered to us. So we, in a matter of in the last 12 months, KRT's received almost 27 brand new vehicles. So that's really exciting. But then that means you got 27 vehicles that you are retiring or moving out of service to put these new ones in. And so when the idea of, hey, could we turn this into a mobile grocery store, it was like, yes, that's something to do with this vehicle.
It's going to help a lot of people. Yeah. And so we surveyed folks, and said, what do you want on it? What can we bring to you? And we heard clearly, don't bring me stuff that we can get at smaller, dollar stores or those kinds of convenience stores that may have toilet paper and paper towels. Bring us perishable food. Yeah. If I can just get teachers at Clay County High School saying, if I could just get lunch meat and bread and milk, without having to drive 2 hours to a Walmart, right? And so we're super excited about that. And stay tuned for that. You'll be able to hear more about that as we get closer. We'll be posting some pictures of its rehab as it starts to get all of its parts. But it's called the United Way Mobile Market, and powered by KRT and others. But we're surely grateful for your support of that work.
Well, thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Now, we're going to, not too much longer, anything future plans you want to just tease out there? Because I know you and I have had some conversations about some great future plans.
Sure, I'll be quick, but we have some really neat, again, going back to embracing technology, how do we make KRT go further for the citizens of Kanawha County? We have some neat concepts that are going to allow us to take some new approaches to how do we get people from A to B. It's a little bit of what we've talked about as far as our paratransit service that picks people up and picks them up at their house and drops them off their doctor's appointment. Historically, that was if you qualified for this paratransit service, but in a world that people are so familiar with ride shares or Uber and Lyft, and hey, I can get on my phone and say, hey, pick me up with a taxi or this or that and drop me off somewhere. Why can't public transit do that? Why can't KRT do that? And as KRT, as we try to operate with a fixed budget, how do we expand our service and what we offer to people without spending more money, right? It's kind of a double-edged sword. Well, a neat thing that we're looking into, it's a concept called microtransit, which is to take some smaller vehicles out, you get on your phone, you embrace the technology. Margaret says, hey, I need picked up at the cultural center and I need dropped off downtown. A KRT vehicle comes and pulls up. Maybe it's not a bus, maybe it's a smaller van that gets better gas mileage, and we take you from point A to point B and save you some money doing it. That's exciting to me. That's how do I make public transit more fun.
That's moving forward. That's the future of public transportation, right? I mean, you just have to make it accessible to people. No different than what we do, trying to meet the need and fill the gaps.
Exactly.
Sean, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you so very much.
Oh, thank you.
I just want to say really quickly before we wrap up, don't forget it's really cold weather season, so we're in the midst of our cold weather drive. If you have coats in your closet that you're not wearing anymore, or you got new ones over the holidays and you're ready to get rid of your old ones, please drop them off at our United Way office. We're on the corner of Court and Smith Street. Gloves, gently used coats, heavy hoodies, those warm hand things if you're a hunter and you didn't use them all of those get put back into great service through our community partners and our shelters and our guests that walk into our United Way office. If you haven't made your annual end-of-year giving to the United Way yet, we would certainly hope that you consider that. We are so honored and blessed to serve the communities of Central West Virginia and our nonprofit partners across our community, and to be able to serve the citizens of Central West Virginia. So please think of us if you haven't already. We certainly would be so grateful, and it's tax deductible. And so until we see you again, our thanks again to the Library Television Network, our friends here at the Cultural Center, for making our show possible. I'm Margaret O'Neill with the United Way of Central West Virginia. We're united for good. Until next time.